If you scream, you'll never see your sister again." Emily froze. The man's hand wasn't on her, didn't need to be. His words were the trap. She watched the elevator numbers descend 5, 4, 3. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A photo. Her sister Jessica leaving her apartment building. Timestamp 3 minutes ago. "How did you—" "I know everything about you, Emily Marshall." Nicholas Romano pressed the emergency stop. The elevator lurched between floors. "Your student loans, your mother's medical bills, the promotion you'll never get. And now I know you took something from me." Her briefcase suddenly felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. "That's impossible. I don't even know you." His smile was ice. "Oh, but you do." Before we continue, if this story has you hooked, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Stay until the very end because Emily's choice will shock you. And drop a comment with your city. I love seeing how far these stories reach. Now let's see what Emily took that's worth killing for. Open the briefcase. Emily's hands trembled. "Mr. Romano, I don't know what you think I have, but open it. Or I make a phone call and Jessica gets a visit from someone far less patient than me." She set the briefcase on the elevator floor, clicked it open. Inside legal files, documents from the Castellano merger. Nothing unusual, nothing that should matter to him. Nick crouched down, pulled out the files, examined them one by one, then stopped. His expression changed, not anger, worse, recognition. "You didn't even know, did you?" He laughed, but there was no humor in it. "They used you, and you walked right into it." "Used me for what?" He held up a document. "This, page 47, the wire transfer authorization. See the account number." She looked. It meant nothing to her. So that's a shell company owned by the Vittorio family, my competitors, enemies actually. And this document with your signature on it authorizes the transfer of $15 million from one of my accounts to theirs, dated yesterday. Emily's blood went cold. "I never signed that." "I know, but it's a very good forgery. Good enough that when the federal investigation hits tomorrow, they'll trace the money to you. And when they dig deeper, they'll find 6 months of communications between you and the Vittorios. Emails, phone records, meetings, all fabricated, all perfect, all leading to you." "That's insane. Why would anyone—" "Because someone needs a fall guy for a very expensive theft. And you're it." He stood up, pressed the button to restart the elevator. "Unless you help me figure out who set us both up." "Both of us." "You think I pressed that emergency stop because I wanted to chat? I've been following you for 3 days trying to figure out if you were the mastermind or the patsy. Congratulations, you're the patsy." The elevator dinged. Ground floor. But Nick didn't move to leave, neither did Emily. "I should call the police," she whispered, "and tell them that you didn't forge documents that have your signature, that you didn't communicate with known criminals, even though there's a digital trail. Emily, the moment you walk out that door, you have maybe 12 hours before the feds pick you up. So you can spend those 12 hours running, or you can spend them with me figuring out who did this. You're a crime boss. I'm a businessman who operates in gray areas. There's a difference, and right now we're on the same side." "I don't even know where to start." "Start with Morrison, your boss. He's the one who gave you this case, right?" Emily's stomach dropped. Morrison. Of course. But Morrison had been her mentor, had pulled her onto the Castellano case, had praised her work, had, oh God. The pieces clicked together. He's been setting me up from the beginning. Now you're catching on. Nick stepped out of the elevator. "Come on, we have work to do." "I'm not going anywhere with you." "Then enjoy federal prison. I hear the food is terrible." He started walking. Emily stood there, briefcase in hand, every instinct screaming at her to run in the opposite direction. But her phone buzzed again. Another photo of Jessica, this time inside her apartment. The message was clear: he could reach her sister any time. She followed him. Nick's car was a black Mercedes, sleek, expensive, the kind that screamed money but not attention. He drove in silence, weaving through late-night traffic toward the Harbor District. "Where are we going?" "Somewhere we can talk without being recorded. Your apartment is bugged. Your office is bugged. Even your favorite coffee shop, the one on 5th Street, that's bugged too." "How do you know about—" "Because I'm the one who bugged them. 3 weeks ago. When I realized someone was using my money to fund something I didn't authorize, I started tracking everyone connected to the Castellano case. You, Morrison, the entire firm. And what I found was interesting. Someone's been tracking you too. Not me, someone else." Emily's hands were ice. "Who?" "That's what we need to figure out." He pulled into a parking garage beneath an old warehouse. "Before they figure out we're working together." "We're not working together." "We are now, whether you like it or not." The warehouse was renovated inside, expensive but understated. Leather furniture, dark wood, floor-to-ceiling windows looking out over the harbor. A man stood by those windows. Tall gray hair, expensive suit. "Emily Marshall," Nick said. "Meet Frank Delgado, my attorney. And before you panic, yes, he's legitimate. Harvard Law, 30 years experience. Currently on retainer with 6 Fortune 500 companies." Frank turned. His expression was professional neutral. "Ms. Marshall, I've reviewed your situation. It's worse than Nick described." "How is that possible?" Frank opened a laptop. "Because the frame job isn't just federal. Morrison has been building a case against you internally. Sexual harassment allegations from a paralegal you've never met. Theft of client funds. Falsifying timesheets. He's creating a pattern that shows you're corrupt, desperate, and willing to do anything for money." Emily sank into a chair. "This can't be happening." "It is happening." Frank pulled up documents. "And it gets worse. Morrison filed a complaint with the Bar Association this afternoon, anonymous, claiming a junior associate at his firm is involved in criminal activity. They're opening an investigation. By the end of the week, your license will be suspended pending review." "He's destroying my entire life." "He's eliminating witnesses," Nick said. "You got too close to something, saw something you weren't supposed to see. And now he's making sure you can't talk." Emily's mind raced. What had she seen? She'd been working on Castellano for 3 weeks, reviewing contracts, due diligence, financial statements, nothing unusual, nothing that would... Wait. "The offshore accounts," she whispered. Nick leaned forward. "What about them?" 3 days ago. I was reviewing Castellano's financial statements. There were wire transfers to offshore accounts. Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, normal for a company that size, but one of the accounts... She closed her eyes, trying to remember. The routing number was wrong. Not wrong exactly, but unusual. I flagged it, asked Morrison about it. What did he say? He said it was a typo, that Castellano's accountant had already corrected it, told me to remove the flag from the document. Frank and Nick exchanged looks. "What?" Emily demanded. "What does that mean?" "It means you found the hole in the operation," Frank said. "The one account that connects Morrison to the Vittorios, the one they can't afford to have discovered. I don't understand." Nick sat down across from her. "Okay, let me explain how this works. Morrison's been on my payroll for 3 years, feeding me information, helping me stay ahead of investigations. In return, I pay him through consulting fees. Legitimate, legal. Everyone wins." "That's not legal. It's not illegal either. Gray area. Remember?" he continued. "But 6 months ago, Morrison got ambitious, started working with the Vittorios behind my back. They wanted access to my accounts, my operations, my connections. Morrison provided that access. In return, they paid him significantly more than I was paying him." "So you killed him?" Emily's voice was barely a whisper. "No, I haven't killed anyone." Nick's tone was sharp. "This isn't a movie. I'm a businessman. I solve problems with leverage, not violence. But the Vittorios, they're old school. And when Morrison's plan started falling apart when you found that account number, they decided to cut their losses. Frame you for the theft. Frame me as your accomplice. And in the chaos of the federal investigation, they'd eliminate Morrison and walk away clean. Eliminate Morrison. Emily's throat was tight. You mean kill him? I mean he has maybe 48 hours before someone puts a bullet in him, which is why we need to move fast. Frank closed his laptop. Here's what we know. Morrison has been funneling money from Nick's accounts to the Vittorios through a complex series of shell companies. That offshore account you found, that's the linchpin. It connects everything. But to prove it, we need Morrison's complete financial records, real ones, not the sanitized versions he keeps at the firm. And those are where? His house, in a safe, third-floor office, behind a painting of his grandfather. Emily stared at them. How do you know that? Because I've been inside his house, Nick said calmly. Twice. Once 6 months ago when I suspected he was stealing. Once 3 weeks ago when I confirmed it. But I couldn't take the documents without tipping him off. I needed someone who had legitimate access, someone he trusted. The realization hit like a physical blow. You've been planning this, using me. I've been planning to survive. And yes, that involved identifying who in Morrison's circle could help me. You were the best option. I'm not breaking into my boss's house. You're not breaking in. You're going to walk in the front door tomorrow night. Morrison's hosting a firm dinner. Partners and associates. You're invited. You'll excuse yourself during dessert. Go upstairs. Access the safe. Photograph the documents. Return to dinner. Simple. Simple. Emily's laugh was hysterical. You want me to commit burglary at a firm event with dozens of witnesses. I want you to save your life, and mine, and Morrison's if we're feeling charitable. Nick stood. Look, I know this is a lot, but here's the reality: you're already implicated in federal crimes you didn't commit. Your reputation is already destroyed. Your license is already under review. You can sit back and let that happen, or you can fight back. Your choice. Emily's hands were shaking. If I do this, if I get caught, you won't get caught because I'll be there. Remote access to the house security system, eyes on every camera. If anything goes wrong, I pull the fire alarm. Everyone evacuates. You disappear in the chaos. And if something goes wrong with your plan, then we're both dead. So let's make sure nothing goes wrong. Emily didn't go home that night. Couldn't. Nick had been right about the bugs. The thought of sleeping in her own bed while someone listened made her skin crawl. Instead, she stayed at Frank's office. A couch in the corner. A blanket that smelled like leather and old books. She didn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling, mind racing through every choice that had led her here. Law school. She'd been so proud. Top of her class. Full scholarship. Job offers from 3 top firms. She'd chosen Morrison's firm because he'd promised mentorship, guidance, a path to partnership. Instead, he'd turned her into a criminal. Her phone buzzed. A text from her sister Jessica. Haven't heard from you in days. Everything okay? Emily typed and deleted 5 responses. How do you tell your sister that you're caught between the FBI and the mob, that your boss framed you for theft, that a crime boss is now your only ally? She settled on, busy with work. Call you soon. Love you. The response was immediate. You always say that. Miss you. Guilt twisted in Emily's stomach. Jessica was all she had left. Their parents were gone. Dad from cancer, mom from a heart attack 2 years later. Emily had raised Jessica through high school, put her through community college, made sure she had a chance at a normal life. And now, Emily's choices might destroy that. Another text. This one from Nick. Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be intense. She typed back. How do you have my number? I have everyone's number. Sleep. Emily threw the phone across the room. It bounced off the wall and landed on the carpet screen dark. She wanted to scream, wanted to cry, wanted to wake up and discover this was all a nightmare. But it wasn't. This was real. And tomorrow night, she'd be breaking into Morrison's house, Morning came too fast. Frank arrived at 7 with coffee and bagels. Emily had managed maybe 2 hours of sleep. Her reflection in the bathroom mirror looked like death. "You need to go into work today," Frank said. "Act normal. Don't give Morrison any reason to suspect you know what's happening." "How am I supposed to act normal when you're terrified, angry, confused?" Frank's expression softened. "You're a lawyer, Emily. You've spent years learning to hide your emotions, to present a case even when you don't believe in it. Today is no different. You walk in, you do your work, you smile at Morrison, and tonight you take him down. What if I can't do this? Then he wins, and you spend the next 20 years in federal prison for crimes you didn't commit. Is that what you want?" Emily took the coffee, drank it, felt the caffeine hit her system like electricity. "No, that's not what I want." "Good. Now listen carefully. Here's what's going to happen today." The firm was chaos when Emily arrived. News of the Castellano investigation had leaked fully. Clients were calling, partners were panicking, associates were updating resumes. Morrison stood in the center of it all, calm as glass. When he saw Emily, he smiled, actually smiled. "Emily, good. I need you in the conference room. We're doing damage control." She followed him. 6 other associates were already there, laptops open, phones ringing. Morrison closed the door. "All right, here's the situation. The Castellano deal is dead. FBI is investigating financial fraud. Our involvement is minimal, but we need to demonstrate full cooperation. That means turning over all documents, all communications, everything. Emily, your point on document collection. Get me every file related to Castellano by end of day." "Including your files?" The words were out before she could stop them. Morrison's smile didn't waver. "Including everything. We have nothing to hide." But his eyes were calculating, measuring. He knew. Somehow he knew she was suspicious. "Of course," Emily said. "I'll have it ready." The meeting lasted an hour. Assignments, protocols, client communications. Emily took notes, nodded in the right places, played the role of dutiful associate. When it ended, Morrison touched her arm. "Stay back, I need a word." The other associates filed out. The door clicked shut. Suddenly, the conference room felt very small. "You look tired," Morrison said. "Long night, couldn't sleep. Worried about the investigation. Aren't we all?" He moved to the window, looked out over the city. "You know, Emily, I've always liked you. You remind me of myself 20 years ago, hungry, ambitious, willing to work harder than anyone else." "Thank you, sir. But there's something I learned early in my career. Something important." He turned to face her. "In this business, loyalty matters more than talent, more than intelligence, more than anything else." Emily's heart was pounding. "I'm loyal to the firm." "Are you?" "Because I got an interesting call last night, from building security. Apparently you were in my office yesterday morning, 6 a.m., before I arrived." The world tilted. "I was dropping off files. You asked for the Henderson brief. I asked for it to be put on my desk, not for you to be in my office unsupervised." He stepped closer. "Tell me, Emily, did you find what you were looking for?" Her mouth was dry. "I don't know what you mean." "No, let me be more direct. Did you go through my briefcase?" Lie. She had to lie. "No, sir. I dropped off the files and left." Morrison studied her face. Long seconds passed. Then he nodded. "Good. Because that would be a serious breach of trust. Career-ending, really. And I'd hate to see your career end before it really started." "Of course. The firm dinner tonight. You're still coming?" "Yes." "Good. I have something I want to discuss with you. An opportunity. Partnership track, if you're interested." Partnership track. The words should have meant everything. Should have been the goal. Instead, they felt like a noose tightening. "I'm very interested." "Excellent." Morrison opened the door. "Oh, and Emily, wear something nice tonight. I want to introduce you to some people. Important people." She walked out on shaking legs. Made it to her cubicle, sat down, and saw the envelope on her desk, plain manila. No markings. She opened it. Inside was a photograph. Her, in Morrison's office yesterday morning, looking through his briefcase. Timestamp, date, perfect clarity. And a note, "We need to talk. Parking garage, noon, come alone," no signature. But she knew who sent it. Detective Chen. Emily stared at the photograph. Her hands, her face, the briefcase, all perfectly clear. Chen had been watching, had evidence, had everything she needed to arrest Emily right now. The clock on her computer read 11:47 a.m. 13 minutes until the meeting. She grabbed her phone, texted Nick. Chen knows. She has photos. "Meeting me at noon." The response came instantly. "Don't go. I have to. She'll arrest me if I don't." Then you walk into a trap. She wants you to panic, to confess, to give her Morrison on a silver platter. Maybe I should. Her phone rang. Nick's voice was sharp. "Listen to me very carefully. Chen doesn't have enough to arrest you yet. If she did, you'd already be in handcuffs. The photo is pressure. She wants you scared enough to talk without a lawyer present." "I am scared." "Good. Use that. Go to the meeting. But don't say anything Morrison can use against you later. Chen thinks you're working with me. Let her keep thinking that. It buys us time." "Time for what?" "For tonight. Get those documents from Morrison's safe. That's the only thing that saves both of us." He paused. "And Emily Chen's dirty. She's been on the Vittorio's payroll for 2 years. Emily's breath caught. "How do you know that?" "Because I'm the one who found out and told her current boss. She's been under investigation for 6 months. This is her last chance to bring in a big case before internal affairs closes in. She's desperate, which makes her dangerous." The line went dead. Emily looked at the photograph again, at her own guilty face staring back. She had 12 minutes to decide whether to trust a mobster over a cop. She grabbed her jacket and headed to the parking garage. Chen was waiting by a concrete pillar, cigarette in hand, despite the no smoking signs. She looked tired, older than she'd seemed that morning. "Ms. Marshall, thanks for coming." "Did I have a choice?" Chen dropped the cigarette, crushed it under her heel. "There's always a choice. That's what I want to talk to you about, the choices you've been making." "I haven't done anything wrong." "Then explain this." Chen held up another photograph. Emily in the parking garage 3 nights ago, standing next to Nick Romano's Mercedes. "That's you. That's him. That's a conversation that lasted 17 minutes. Want to tell me what you were discussing?" Emily's mind raced. "He approached me, offered me a job. I said no. You said no. But 3 days later you're photographed breaking into your boss's office at 6 in the morning going through confidential files. Seems like maybe you said yes after all." "I was returning documents Morrison requested. At 6 a.m. in his personal briefcase." Chen stepped closer. "Here's what I think. I think Romano recruited you. I think he paid you to access Morrison's files. I think you're in way over your head and looking for a way out. Am I close?" "No. No." Chen pulled out her phone, played a recording. Emily's voice. "The offshore accounts. The routing number was wrong." Then Morrison's voice. "Remove the flag from the document." Emily's stomach dropped. "You bugged Morrison's office. Federal investigation, we bug everything. And that conversation? That's you discovering evidence of money laundering and your boss instructing you to hide it. That makes you an accessory, unless you cooperate." "I want a lawyer." "You want a lawyer? Fine. Call one. But the moment you lawyer up, this conversation ends, and I take what I have to the prosecutor. You'll be arrested by dinner time, charged with conspiracy, money laundering, obstruction. That's 20 years minimum. Or..." Chen's expression shifted, almost sympathetic. "Or you can tell me what Romano wanted, what Morrison is hiding, what you found in that briefcase, and we can work something out." Emily's heart hammered. Every instinct screamed not to trust this woman. But Nick had lied to her. Morrison had used her. Who was left to trust? "If I cooperate," Emily said slowly, What happens to me? Immunity. Full immunity. You testify against Morrison and Romano, and you walk away clean. New identity if you want it. Witness protection. A chance to start over. And my sister. Chen blinked. What about your sister? Romano showed me photos of her, implied he could hurt her if I didn't cooperate with him. If I testify, she's in danger. Something flickered across Chen's face. Surprise. Then calculation. We can protect your sister. Put her in protective custody until the trial. How long would that take? 6 months, maybe a year. A year of Jessica in hiding. A year of looking over their shoulders. A year of living in fear. Emily thought of her sister's text that morning, "Miss you. I need time to think." You don't have time. Morrison's planning something. Tonight at that firm dinner. Something big. And if you're there when it goes down, you're going down with him. Chen grabbed Emily's arm. Please, I'm trying to help you, but you have to meet me halfway. Emily pulled away. I said I need time. You have until 6 p.m. After that, the offer expires. Chen handed her a burner phone. Use this to call me. Untraceable. In case Romano's monitoring your cell. 6 p.m. Emily. Don't make me come find you. Emily took the phone, walked back to the elevator. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The office was worse when she returned. More panic. More chaos. An associate named David was crying at his desk. The Castellano investigation had spread to 3 other cases. The firm was hemorrhaging clients. Morrison stood in his office door open, watching it all with that same calm expression. When he saw Emily, he beckoned her inside. Close the door. She did. Her legs felt like water. Her tasuares. Morrison sat behind his desk, hands folded. I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to be honest with me. Can you do that? Yes, sir. Did Detective Chen approach you today? The question hit like a punch. How did he know she... Yes. In the parking garage. What did she want? To ask about the Castellano case. About Romano. She thinks I'm working with him. Are you? No. Morrison studied her face for a long moment, then nodded. Good. Because Chen is dirty. She's being paid by Romano's competitors to build a case against him. Anything you tell her gets back to them. And if they think you're valuable, you become a target. Emily's head spun. Nick said Chen was dirty. Now Morrison said the same thing. But they were both liars. How could she trust either of them? Sir, I need to know something. The offshore account I found. The one you told me to ignore. Was that Romano's money? Morrison's expression didn't change. That's confidential client information. I can't discuss it. But the FBI investigation is a smokescreen. Romano's enemies are using federal resources to attack him. They planted evidence in the Castellano files, made it look like fraud. And now they're trying to pressure his associates, people like you, into testifying against him with fabricated evidence. So there's no fraud. Oh, there's fraud. Just not by Romano. By the people trying to frame him. Morrison leaned forward. Which is why tonight's dinner is so important. I'm going to introduce you to some people who can protect you. People who know the truth about what's happening. Who? You'll see tonight. 8 o'clock. My house. Wear the blue dress if you still have it. You'll want to make a good impression. The blue dress. Nick had said the same thing. Emily's chest tightened. How do you know about my blue dress? Emily, I've been mentoring you for 2 years. I know what you wear to important meetings. It's a compliment. You look professional in blue. But his smile. Something about his smile was wrong. Too knowing. Too cold. I'll be there, she whispered. Excellent. Oh, and Emily. Don't bring your phone. The feds are tracking everyone's devices. We'll have burners available at the house. Safer that way. He dismissed her with a wave. Emily walked out, bile rising in her throat. Back at her desk, she found another envelope. This one had her name written in elegant script. Inside was an invitation. Embossed. Expensive. You are cordially invited to an evening of celebration at the Morrison residence. 8 o'clock. Business formal attire. And at the bottom, handwritten, "Don't disappoint me, Emily. Your future depends on it." Her phone buzzed. The burner Chen had given her. A text from an unknown number. "Morrison's planning to kill you tonight. Get out now." Emily's hands went numb. She looked up. Morrison was watching her through his office window, still smiling. Another text on her regular phone. "Nick, change of plans. Don't go to the dinner. Meet me at the warehouse at 7. Then her work computer pinged. An email from Morrison. Subject line, partnership offer. She opened it. "Emily, I'm pleased to formally offer you a position on partnership track effective immediately. Compensation details attached. This offer is contingent on your attendance at tonight's dinner and your willingness to take on additional responsibilities. Congratulations, you've earned it. Gerald Morrison." The attached document showed a salary that made her current pay look like pocket change. 200,000 base, bonuses, profit sharing, everything she'd dreamed of when she started law school. All she had to do was show up tonight. Her desk phone rang. Internal line, she answered. "Emily Marshall," a woman's voice, unfamiliar. "Yes. This is Linda from HR. I need you to come down to my office immediately. There's been a complaint filed against you." A complaint. Sexual harassment. A paralegal named Marcus Chen says you made inappropriate advances toward him last month. This is very serious. You need to come down right now. Emily's vision blurred. Marcus Chen. She'd never even met him. This was Morrison. More framing. More evidence to destroy her credibility. "I'll be right there." She hung up. Looked around the office. Associates were staring at her now, whispering. Word had already spread. Her phone buzzed again. Jessica. There's a man outside my apartment. He's just standing there, watching. Should I call the police?" Emily's blood turned to ice. She called her sister. No answer. Called again. Voicemail. She texted Jessica. "Lock your door. Don't open it for anyone. I'm coming." Response. "He's knocking. Says he has a delivery. Don't open the door." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then nothing. Emily grabbed her purse and ran. Ignored HR. Ignored Morrison calling her name. Ignored everything except getting to her sister. She called Nick from the elevator. He answered on the first ring. "Jessica's in trouble. Someone's at her apartment." "I know. I sent him." Emily's world stopped. "What? He's one of my guys. Protection detail. I told you the Vittorios want leverage. Your sister is leverage. She's safer with my people watching her. You sent a stranger to my sister's door without telling me." "I'm telling you now, he's going to get her somewhere safe. You need to trust me." "I don't trust you. You've been manipulating me from the start." "Yes, I have. Because that's how I keep people alive. Now listen very carefully. Morrison knows about the photograph. He knows Chen approached you. He knows you're suspicious. That dinner tonight, it's not a celebration, it's an elimination." Elimination. He's going to have you killed. Frame it as a suicide. Depressed junior associate overwhelmed by federal investigation takes her own life. Tragic? Neat. Closes the case. Emily leaned against the elevator wall. "This can't be real." "It's very real. Which is why you need to do exactly what I say. Go to your sister's apartment. My guy will take you both to a safe location. Do not go to Morrison's dinner. Do not contact Chen. Do not trust anyone except me. Understand? Why should I trust you? Because I'm the only one who's been honest with you. Morrison lied. Chen lied. I told you from the beginning that you were in danger, that you needed protection, that someone was using you. Everything I said was true. You threatened my sister. I showed you she was vulnerable. There's a difference. If I wanted to hurt her, she'd already be hurt. Instead, she's about to be protected by the best security team in the city. You're welcome." Emily's mind was spinning. Nothing made sense. Everyone was lying. Everyone had an agenda. The elevator reached the parking level. She ran to her car. Her hands shook so badly she could barely get the key in the ignition. Jessica's apartment was 40 minutes away. Traffic was terrible. Emily ran 3 red lights, ignored 2 stop signs, drove like someone being chased. Because she was being chased. She could feel it. Eyes everywhere. Watching. Waiting. She pulled up to Jessica's building. The man was still there. Tall, broad shoulders, dark suit. He saw Emily's car and walked toward it. Emily locked the doors. He knocked on the window. "Ms. Marshall, I'm here to help." "Where's my sister?" "Inside, waiting for you. Mr. Romano sent me to make sure she's safe." "I want to see her first." He stepped back. "3rd floor, apartment 3B. She's expecting you." Emily got out slowly. Every nerve screaming danger. She kept her phone in her hand finger on the emergency call button. The building was old. Narrow stairs. Flickering lights. She climbed to the 3rd floor, heart pounding. Jessica's door was open. Emily's stomach dropped. "Jess." She pushed the door wider. The apartment was dark. Silent. "Jessica." A sound from the bedroom. Emily ran toward it. Jessica sat on the bed, phone in her lap, face pale. "Em, what's going on?" "That man said you sent him. Said someone was trying to hurt me. Is that true?" Emily pulled her sister into her arms. "It's complicated. But yes, we need to leave. Right now." "Leave? Leave where my job?" "Forget your job. Pack a bag. Essentials only. We have maybe 5 minutes." Jessica's eyes widened. "You're serious?" "Dead serious." They moved fast. Clothes. Documents. Cash Jessica kept in a drawer. Emily's mind raced through options. They couldn't go to her apartment. Couldn't go to a hotel. Credit cards could be traced. Couldn't go to friends, too dangerous. Her phone rang. Morrison. She stared at the screen. Let it ring out. Voicemail notification. She played it on speaker. Morrison's voice calm and friendly. "Emily, HR told me about the complaint. I want you to know I don't believe a word of it. Marcus Chen has a history of making false accusations. Don't worry about it. Focus on tonight, 8 o'clock. I have people who want to meet you. People who can make all your problems disappear. See you soon." The message ended. Jessica grabbed Emily's arm. "Em, what did you do?" "I didn't do anything. That's the problem. I got caught in the middle of something bigger than me, bigger than both of us." "Who was that?" "My boss. The man who's been setting me up for crimes I didn't commit." "Setting you up, Emily, we need to call the police." "The police are part of it. The detective investigating is corrupt. She's working for the people trying to frame me." Jessica's face crumpled. "This sounds insane." "I know, but it's real. And we need to leave before—" A sound from the living room. Footsteps. Emily pushed Jessica behind her, grabbed a lamp from the nightstand. Not much of a weapon, but better than nothing. The bedroom door opened. The man from outside stood there. But he wasn't alone. 3 other men, all in dark suits, all watching Emily with cold, professional eyes. "Ms. Marshall, Mr. Romano is waiting. We need to go now." "Who are you really? Does it matter?" "You're out of options. Morrison's people are on their way. You have maybe 2 minutes before they arrive. Come with us, or stay and die. Your choice." Jessica's hand found Emily's, squeezed tight. "Em, I'm scared." Emily looked at her sister. 22 years old, barely starting her life, and now dragged into this nightmare because of Emily's choices. She thought of Morrison's smile, Chen's fake sympathy, Nick's manipulation. Everyone was using her. Everyone had an agenda. But only one group had shown up to protect Jessica. "We'll go," Emily said. "But if you hurt my sister—" "We're not here to hurt anyone. We're here to keep you alive long enough for tonight." The man checked his watch. "Morrison's dinner starts in 6 hours. You need to be there. It's the only way this ends." "Nick told me not to go." Nick changed his mind. New plan. You go to the dinner. You get the documents from Morrison's safe. And you get out before the Vittorios show up. The Vittorios are coming. Everyone's coming. Morrison invited half the criminal underworld to watch him eliminate a problem. You. He thinks you're working with Nick. He thinks tonight's dinner is the perfect time to prove his loyalty to the Vittorios by handing you over. Emily's legs almost gave out. Handing me over to what? To people who make people disappear, permanently. The man gestured toward the door. Which is why we need to move. Now. They went down the back stairs. A black SUV waited in the alley. Tinted windows. No plates. Jessica climbed in first, then Emily. Nick sat in the back seat. Not smiling, not charming, just tired. I'm sorry, he said. I know you don't want to hear that, but I am sorry. You didn't ask for any of this. No, I didn't. Emily's voice was flat. I just wanted to be a lawyer, help people, make a difference. And you will, after tonight. After we expose Morrison and the Vittorios, and everyone who's been using you as a pawn, you'll have your life back. How everyone thinks I'm a criminal, because that's the story they're telling. Tonight we change the story. Nick pulled out a small device, no bigger than a button. This is a recording device, military grade, undetectable. You wear it to Morrison's dinner. You get him talking, about the offshore accounts, about the Vittorios, about what he did to you, and you record every word. And then what? And then Frank delivers the recording to the U.S. attorney. The real one, not Chen. Someone who actually cares about justice. Someone who's been building a case against Morrison and the Vittorios for 3 years. Someone who will give you immunity in exchange for testimony. Emily looked at the device, at Nick, at her sister's terrified face. If I do this, she whispered, and it goes wrong. It won't go wrong. I'll have 20 people positioned around Morrison's house. Security, tech support, extraction team. The moment you get that recording, you signal me and we pull you out. How do I signal you? Text the word "done" to this number. He handed her a phone, different from the burner Chen had given her. That's all. 3 letters, and we come get you. Jessica grabbed Emily's hand again. Don't do this, please. Let's just run. Leave the city. Start over somewhere else. They'll find us. Emily said softly. People like Morrison. People like the Vittorios. They don't stop. Not unless we stop them first. You sound like him. Jessica glared at Nick. Like you've already decided. I have decided. This ends tonight. The SUV pulled into an underground garage. Private. Secure. They got out, and Nick led them to an elevator. It opened into what looked like a penthouse apartment. Clean, modern, expensive. You'll stay here until tonight, Nick said. My people will watch the building. No one gets in or out without my approval. You're safe. Safe? Emily laughed. It sounded hysterical. I don't even know what that means anymore. It means you get to see tomorrow. That's all any of us can ask for right now. Nick moved toward the door. Get some rest, both of you. Tonight's going to be the longest night of your life. He left. The door locked behind him. Electronic. No key. Emily and Jessica stood in the middle of the penthouse, surrounded by luxury they couldn't enjoy and safety they couldn't trust. Jessica said quietly. Tell me we're going to be okay. Emily wanted to lie, wanted to promise everything would work out. But she was tired of lies. I don't know, she said, but I'm going to try. That's all I can do. They had 4 hours until the dinner. Emily sat on the leather couch, staring at the recording device Nick had left on the coffee table. So small, so fragile. Her entire future resting on a piece of technology no bigger than a shirt button. Jessica emerged from the bathroom, face washed, eyes red. There's food in the kitchen, expensive stuff, cheese I can't pronounce, wine that probably costs more than my rent. I'm not hungry. You need to eat. You look like you're going to pass out. Jessica sat down beside her. Talk to me. Really talk to me. What happened? How did you go from junior associate to this? Emily picked up the recording device, turned it over in her fingers. I made the mistake of being good at my job. Morrison noticed, gave me a case I thought was a promotion. Turns out it was a setup. He's been stealing from Nick Romano for months. Needed someone to blame when it all fell apart. I was convenient. And Romano? Why is he helping you? Because Morrison's theft made him look weak. In his world, weakness gets you killed. He needs to prove he's still in control. I'm how he does that. So you're a pawn. I've always been a pawn. I just didn't realize I was on the board. Emily set the device down. But tonight, I become something else. Tonight, I take control. By walking into a house full of criminals wearing a wire M, that's not control. That's suicide. It's the only play I have left. Morrison's already destroyed my reputation. The FBI thinks I'm guilty. The Bar Association is investigating me. My career is over unless I can prove he set me up. This recording is the only evidence that matters. Jessica grabbed her hands. Then let Romano get it. Let his people handle it. Why does it have to be you? Because Morrison invited me. Because I'm the one he's planning to sacrifice. Because if I don't show up, he'll know something's wrong, and he'll disappear. And then all of this, everything I've lost, it'll be for nothing. Her sister's grip tightened. I can't lose you. You're all I have left. You're not going to lose me, I promise. Emily pulled Jessica into a hug. Nick has people everywhere. Security, extraction team. The moment I get that recording, they pull me out. It's going to work. But her voice shook when she said it. Because she didn't believe it. Not really. She'd watched too many people lie to her in the past 24 hours to trust anyone's promises anymore. Her phone buzzed. The regular one, not the burner Nick had given her. A text from Detective Chen. Time's up. Where are you? Call me now, or I issue a warrant. Emily stared at the message. Chen thought she was running. Thought she'd disappeared to avoid arrest. Which meant Chen didn't know about Morrison's dinner. Didn't know about tonight's plan. Unless she did know. Unless this was another test. Another trap. Another text came through, this one from Morrison. Looking forward to seeing you tonight. The partners are excited to meet you. Wear the blue dress. 8 o'clock sharp. Don't be late. The blue dress. Everyone kept mentioning the blue dress. It was hanging in her apartment closet, probably bugged now, probably part of whatever Morrison had planned. She texted Nick, I don't have the blue dress. Can't go back to my apartment. Response, already handled. Check the bedroom closet. Emily walked to the bedroom, opened the closet, and there it was. Her blue dress, the exact one from her apartment, cleaned, pressed, hanging perfectly. Her skin crawled. Jess, come here. Jessica appeared in the doorway. Saw the dress. Her face went pale. How did he? He's been in my apartment. Maybe several times. Maybe for weeks. Emily's hands trembled as she touched the fabric. He's been watching me, tracking me. Probably has cameras everywhere I go. That's insane. That's how he stays alive. Emily turned to face her sister. He told me from the beginning he knew everything about me. My loans, my mother's medical bills, your apartment. He wasn't exaggerating. He literally knows everything. Jessica backed away from the dress like it was contaminated. We need to call someone. The real police. The FBI. Someone who can help. There is no one who can help. Don't you get it? Morrison owns the firm. Chen's dirty. The people investigating Romano are either corrupt or being used. We're alone in this. Then we run, right now, out the back, find a bus station, get to another state. Emily almost said yes. Almost grabbed her sister's hand and ran. But then she thought of Morrison's smile, his casual threats, his absolute certainty that he controlled everything. If she ran, he won. If she ran, he'd find them eventually. Men like Morrison always did. No, Emily said. I'm going to that dinner. I'm getting that recording. And I'm ending this tonight. You're being stupid. Maybe. But I'm being stupid on my terms. The hours crawled by. Emily tried to rest, but couldn't. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Morrison's face, heard Nick's voice, felt Chen's hand on her arm. At 6 o'clock, the burner phone Chen had given her rang. Emily stared at it. Let it ring 4 times before answering. "Where are you?" Chen's voice was sharp. "Somewhere safe." "Safe? You're running from a federal investigation. That's not safe. That's obstruction of justice." "You gave me until 6. It's 6. I'm calling." "To say what?" "That you're cooperating. Because if you're not in my office in the next hour with a lawyer and a statement, I'm issuing a warrant for your arrest." Emily's heart pounded. "I need more time." "You don't have more time. Morrison's dinner is tonight. He's planning something. I don't know what, but I know it involves you. If you go to that dinner, you're not coming back." "How do you know about the dinner?" Silence on the other end. Too long, too calculated. "Chen, how do you know about Morrison's dinner?" "We've been surveilling him for weeks. We know everything." "Then why do you need me?" "Because you're the key. You're the one he's been setting up, the one he's going to eliminate tonight. Let me bring you in. Let me protect you. Like you protected the last witness, the one who disappeared 3 weeks ago. What was his name again?" Chen's breath caught. "How do you know about that?" "I know a lot of things now. I know you're being investigated by Internal Affairs. I know you've been taking money from the Vittorios. I know you're as corrupt as Morrison." "That's a lie. Someone's been feeding you disinformation. Romano probably. He's good at that. Making the truth look like lies and lies look like truth." "Is it true you're under investigation?" "That's classified. So yes." Emily stood up, pacing. "Here's what I think, Detective. I think you need me to testify against Morrison because your case is falling apart. I think you need a credible witness to cover for all the illegal evidence you've collected. I think you're desperate, and desperate people do desperate things." "Emily, listen to me very carefully. If you go to Morrison's house tonight, you will die. I can't protect you if you walk into a trap. I'm already in a trap, have been since the moment Morrison gave me that case. The only question is who springs it first." "Don't do this. Please, I'm begging you. Come in. Let me help you." Emily ended the call, threw the burner phone across the room. It hit the wall and shattered. Jessica stood in the doorway. "Was that smart?" "Probably not. But I'm done letting people manipulate me through fear." Emily checked the time. 7 o'clock. 1 hour until the dinner. "I need to get ready. I'm coming with you." "Absolutely not. You can't stop me. I'm an adult. I make my own choices. And I'm your sister. I'm not letting you walk into danger." "Then don't walk into danger yourself." Jessica's voice broke. "Stay here. With me. Let Romano and Morrison and Chen and all these people kill each other. We'll be safe here. Together." Emily pulled her sister close. "I wish I could. But if I don't show up tonight, Morrison wins. And if he wins, we'll spend the rest of our lives running. I can't do that to you. I won't." "Then I'm coming. As backup. As witness. As something." "No. You're staying here where Nick's people can protect you. That's not negotiable." They argued for another 10 minutes. Emily won. Jessica finally agreed to stay, but only after Emily promised to text her every 15 minutes. To check in. To prove she was still alive. At 7:30, Emily put on the blue dress. Applied makeup with hands that wouldn't stay steady. Attached the recording device to her bra strap exactly where Nick had instructed. It was invisible. Undetectable. But it felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Frank Delgado showed up at 7:45, carrying a briefcase and wearing a concerned expression. "You ready for this? Do I have a choice?" "There's always a choice, but yours are getting narrower by the hour." He opened the briefcase. Inside were documents, legal papers. "This is a proffer agreement, immunity from prosecution in exchange for truthful testimony. I've already negotiated it with the U.S. Attorney's Office, the real one, not Chen. All you have to do is sign." Emily looked at the papers. "What's the catch?" "The catch is, you have to survive tonight. If you die, the agreement dies with you." And I go to prison for obstruction because I didn't report what I knew to the authorities. Why are you helping me? Really? Frank closed the briefcase. Because 20 years ago, I was you, young lawyer, got caught up in something bigger than myself, made compromises I shouldn't have made. And by the time I realized what I'd become, it was too late to go back. You still have a chance. Don't waste it like I did. You work for Nick Romano. You've been his attorney for years. That's not exactly redemption. No, but it's survival, and sometimes survival is the best you can hope for. He handed her a pen. Sign the papers, Emily. Give yourself a future. She signed. Her signature looked shaky, uncertain, but it was done. Frank took the papers back. The recording device is active. It'll capture everything within 20 feet. Don't touch it. Don't adjust it. Just let it run. When you get Morrison talking about the offshore accounts, about the Vittorios, about what he did to you, that's when you push. Get him to admit everything. And if he figures out I'm wearing a wire, then you run. Signal Nick. Get out however you can. Frank's expression darkened. But Emily understands something. If Morrison suspects you're recording him, he won't call the police. He'll call the Vittorios, and they don't arrest people. They eliminate them. You're not making me feel better. I'm making you prepared. There's a difference. A knock at the door. One of Nick's security guys. Car's ready. We need to leave now if you're going to be on time. Emily kissed Jessica goodbye. Her sister was crying, trying not to show it but failing. 15 minutes, Jessica whispered. Text me every 15 minutes. I will. I promise. And Em, if something feels wrong, I'll run. I promise. She left before she could change her mind. The car was another black SUV, bulletproof windows, armed driver. She sat in the back, hands folded in her lap, trying to breathe normally. The drive to Morrison's house took 20 minutes. Through the city, past the financial district where her office stood, past restaurants where she'd celebrated good cases and bars where she'd drowned bad ones, past her entire old life. Morrison lived in the suburbs, big houses, gated communities, the kind of neighborhood where people didn't ask questions and neighbors minded their own business. His house was enormous, colonial style, white columns, circular driveway already filled with expensive cars, Mercedes, BMW, a Bentley she recognized as belonging to one of the senior partners. Emily's phone buzzed. Nick. My people are positioned around the perimeter. You're covered. Get the recording and get out. Don't be a hero. She wanted to text back something sarcastic, something about how she'd never wanted to be a hero in the first place. But her hands were shaking too badly to type. The driver opened her door. Good luck, Miss Marshall. She stepped out. The evening air was cool. Somewhere nearby she heard laughter, music, the sounds of a party that had nothing to do with law or justice or survival. The front door opened before she could knock. Morrison stood there smiling that same practiced smile. Emily, right on time. I knew you wouldn't disappoint me. Mr. Morrison. Gerald, please. We're past formalities now. He gestured inside. Come in. Everyone's excited to meet you. Emily stepped across the threshold. The house was beautiful. Hardwood floors, original artwork, the kind of place that spoke of old money and older secrets. Who's everyone? Partners? Associates? A few special guests I wanted you to meet. Morrison led her through the foyer into a living room where maybe 20 people mingled. She recognized faces from the firm. David the associate who'd been crying earlier. Sandra from accounting. 3 senior partners whose names she always forgot. And strangers. Men in expensive suits who didn't look like lawyers. Who looked like they'd be more comfortable breaking bones than filing briefs. One of them caught her eye, smiled. Something about that smile made her blood run cold. Morrison touched her elbow. Let me introduce you to some people. This is Vincent Russo. He's a consultant. Helps us with certain delicate matters. Vincent extended his hand. Emily shook it. His grip was crushing. Ms. Marshall, Gerald's told me so much about you. Says you're very talented. I try. Trying's good. Succeeding is better. Vincent's smile didn't reach his eyes. Gerald says you found something interesting in the Castellano files, an offshore account with an unusual routing number. That true? Emily's heart stopped. This was it. The moment everything could go wrong. I found an irregularity. I reported it to Mr. Morrison. He handled it. He handled it. Vincent looked at Morrison. That what you told her, that you handled it. The account was a clerical error. I had it corrected. Interesting, because that account, that was mine. Well, not mine exactly, but I have an interest in it. And when someone flags it for investigation, I get concerned. Emily's mouth went dry. I was just doing due diligence. Standard protocol. Standard protocol. Vincent laughed. No humor, just sound. You hear that, Gerald? She was following standard protocol, like a good little lawyer. Morrison's smile tightened. Vincent, perhaps we should discuss this in private. No need. Ms. Marshall's one of us now, right? That's why she's here. To join the family, to understand how things really work. Vincent stepped closer to Emily. See, in our business, curiosity is dangerous. Questions are dangerous. People who ask questions tend to have accidents. I'm not asking questions. No. Then why are you here? Gerald invited you to a dinner party. Simple social event. But you showed up wearing... He reached toward her shoulder. Emily flinched. Wearing a dress that makes you look very professional. Very official. Like you're here for business, not pleasure. I was told business formal attire. Were you? Vincent looked at Morrison again. Gerald, did you tell her business formal? I said to look nice. She interpreted that how she chose. Interpreted. Interesting word. Vincent's hand was still near Emily's shoulder. Too close. Invasive. Mind if I check something? Emily's blood turned to ice. He knew. Somehow he knew about the wire. Check what? Her voice came out steady, surprising herself. Whether you're recording this conversation, because that would be very disappointing. That would mean Gerald here brought a rat into my house. Morrison's face went pale. Vincent, I assure you. Assure me. You assured me she was controllable. You assured me she was in your pocket. You assured me she'd be the perfect fall guy for our little operation. But looking at her now, I'm not so sure. She's clean. I guarantee it. Your guarantees don't mean much anymore, Gerald. Not after you let Romano's people get to her first. Vincent grabbed Emily's arm. Come with me. We're going to have a private conversation. Just you and me. And we're going to figure out exactly whose side you're on. Emily tried to pull away. His grip tightened. Painful now. Let go of me. Or what you'll call the police. Gerald's already paid them off. You'll scream, everyone here works for me. You'll run. My people are watching every door. Vincent yanked her toward the hallway. You're going to tell me everything. Who sent you? What you know? What Romano promised you? And then we're going to decide whether you're useful or disposable. Morrison grabbed Vincent's other arm. Wait, just wait. We can handle this civilly. Civilly? Vincent laughed. You don't get it, do you? This whole operation is falling apart. Romano knows about the offshore accounts. The feds are closing in. And you bring a potential wire into my house on the most important night of this entire operation. She's not wearing a wire. Then you won't mind if I check. Vincent reached for Emily's dress. Emily kneed him in the groin. Hard. He doubled over, gasping. She ran. Behind her, chaos erupted. Shouting, Morrison yelling, Vincent cursing, footsteps pounding after her. Emily sprinted through the house, past the living room where people were staring, past the dining room where a table was set for 20, past paintings and furniture and all the trappings of Morrison's carefully constructed life. She found the stairs, took them 2 at a time, 2nd floor, then 3rd. Morrison's office had to be up here, the safe behind the painting, the documents that would save her life. She burst into a room at the end of the hall. Office, mahogany desk, leather chairs, and there a painting of an old man. Morrison's grandfather. Emily yanked the painting off the wall. Behind it, a safe. Digital keypad. She tried Morrison's birthday. Nothing. Tried his bar admission number. Nothing. Footsteps on the stairs. Getting closer. Emily's mind raced. What would Morrison use as a code? What mattered to him, the firm's founding date? She tried it. The safe clicked open. Inside were files. Dozens of them. She grabbed everything. Didn't have time to look. Just grabbed and shoved them under her arm. Vincent appeared in the doorway, blood on his shirt, fury in his eyes. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life. Get away from me! You're going to give me those files, and then you're going to tell me who you're working for, and then you're going to disappear, permanently." Emily backed toward the window. "I'm working for myself, and I'm not disappearing. Not tonight. Not ever." She pulled out the phone Nick had given her. Typed 3 letters. Done. Vincent lunged. Emily threw the phone at his face. It hit him in the eye. He stumbled. She ran past him, back into the hallway. Morrison was there now, blocking the stairs. "Emily, please, let's talk about this." Whatever Vincent said. Whatever he said, he admitted everything. "You're working with the Vittorios. You've been stealing from Romano. You set me up to take the fall." "It's not that simple." "It's exactly that simple." Emily clutched the files to her chest. "You ruined my life, my reputation, my career. For what money power? Was it worth it?" Morrison's expression shifted. The friendly mentor vanished. What replaced it was cold, calculating, dangerous. "You don't understand how this world works. You think law is about justice, about truth. It's about power, about who can hurt whom. And right now, Emily, you're the one who can get hurt. Maybe, but I'm taking you down with me." She shoved past him, down the stairs. Vincent was behind her now, shouting orders. More men appearing. The guests from the living room weren't guests at all. They were Vittorios. All of them. Emily hit the ground floor running. The front door was blocked. Back door kitchen, she ran toward it. Someone grabbed her from behind. She screamed, elbowed them in the ribs, broke free. The kitchen. She could see the back door. 10 feet away, 5 feet. Glass shattered behind her. Something exploded. Smoke filled the room. And then Nick's voice through the chaos. "Emily, get down." She dropped. Gunfire erupted. Not loud like movies. Sharper. More immediate. More terrifying. Nick's security team stormed the house. Black tactical gear. Moving like professionals. Vincent's people scattered. Nick grabbed her arm. "You got the files?" "Yes." "Then we're leaving. Now." They ran through the smoke, out the back door, into the yard. More gunfire behind them. Emily didn't look back. A helicopter waited on the back lawn. Rotors already spinning. Nick pushed her inside, climbed in after her. They lifted off as Vincent burst out of the house, gun raised, shooting at the sky. Emily held the files against her chest, heart-hammering ears ringing, unable to believe she was still alive. Nick was talking into a radio, coordinating with someone, Frank maybe, or the police, or whoever was supposed to make sense of this nightmare. She looked down at Morrison's house, saw police cars arriving, saw people running, saw her entire old life burning down in real time. And she felt nothing. No relief, no triumph, just exhaustion. Nick finished his radio conversation, turned to her. "You did it. You got the documents. And the recording device captured everything Vincent said. Admission of conspiracy, money laundering, attempted murder. It's over." "Is it?" Emily's voice was hollow. "Morrison's still alive. Vincent's still alive. Chen's still out there. How is it over? Because now we have leverage. Now we have proof. Now we can bring them all down." The helicopter banked toward the city, toward police headquarters, toward whatever came next. Emily looked at the files in her lap, at the recording device still clipped to her bra. At Nick's face, was that relief she saw there? Or just more calculation? "What happens to me?" she whispered. "You testify. You help put Morrison and the Vittorios in prison. And then you get your life back." "I don't have a life to get back to. They destroyed it." Then you build a new one. Better one. That's what survivors do. Survivors? Was that what she was now? A survivor. Her phone buzzed. Jessica. Are you okay? It's been more than 15 minutes. Please answer. Emily texted back with shaking hands. I'm alive. Coming home soon. I love you. The response was immediate. I love you too. Hurry. Emily closed her eyes. Let the helicopter carry her away from Morrison's house, away from Vincent and his threats, away from everything that had tried to destroy her. But she could still feel it. The weight of what she'd done. The people she'd crossed. The line she'd stepped over. Tonight she'd become something she'd never wanted to be. Tonight she'd become dangerous. And as the city lights spread out below her, Emily realized that scared her more than anything else. The helicopter touched down on the roof of a building Emily didn't recognize. Not police headquarters, somewhere private, secured. Nick helped her out, one hand steadying her as the rotors whipped her hair into chaos. Where are we? Safe house. We need to review those files before we hand anything over to the authorities. Make sure we know exactly what we have. Emily clutched the documents tighter. You said this was over. You said we were going to the police. We are. But first we need leverage, insurance, protection. Nick led her toward a door. Morrison has connections everywhere. Judges, prosecutors, police captains. If we walk into headquarters without knowing exactly what's in those files, he'll have them buried within an hour. So you lied. Again. I prioritized. There's a difference. He opened the door. Inside was a stairwell. They descended 3 flights. Frank's waiting downstairs. He'll review everything, document it, create copies. Then we go to the U.S. attorney. When? Tonight. Maybe 2 hours from now. 3 at most. You keep saying that. Keep promising this ends soon. But it never does it? It just keeps getting worse. Nick stopped walking, turned to face her. You're right. It does keep getting worse. Because Morrison isn't going to roll over and accept defeat. Neither are the Vittorios. They're going to fight. They're going to use every resource they have to discredit you, to destroy the evidence, to make sure you can't testify. Then why am I even trying? Because giving up means they win. And if they win, you spend the next 20 years in prison, or dead. Those are your options. Fight or die. Emily's legs felt weak. She sat down on the stairs. I'm so tired. I know, but we're almost there. Just a little further. He crouched down beside her. The files you took from Morrison's safe, those contain everything. Offshore account records, wire transfers, communications with the Vittorios, proof that he's been stealing from my operations for months, proof that he framed you. With those files and that recording, we can bury him. And what do you get out of it? I get to stay alive. I get to keep my businesses running. I get to prove that nobody steals from me and gets away with it. His expression hardened. Reputation is everything in my world. Morrison damaged mine. I'm taking it back. By using me. By helping you. There's a difference. You needed evidence. I provided the opportunity to get it. You needed protection. I provided that too. We're using each other. That's called a partnership. Emily wanted to argue, wanted to call him out for every manipulation, every half-truth, every moment he'd controlled her like a chess piece. But he was right. Without him, she'd be dead or arrested by now. She owed him her life, even if that life felt like it belonged to someone else now. They reached the bottom floor. Frank was waiting in a conference room. Laptop opened multiple screens, displaying data Emily couldn't interpret from the doorway. You got them? Frank stood up. Emily handed over the files. Everything that was in the safe. Frank spread the documents across the table, began sorting through them with practiced efficiency. Okay, we've got bank statements from 7 offshore accounts, wire transfer authorizations, communications between Morrison and someone named VR, that's Vincent Russo. And this? He held up a single page. This is a contract between Morrison and the Vittorios, dated 6 months ago. What kind of contract? Nick leaned over the table. A partnership agreement. Morrison provides intelligence on your operations. The Vittorios provide protection and resources. In return, Morrison gets 20% of all profits from operations conducted using your infrastructure. He was selling me out for 20%. Nick's laugh was bitter. I was paying him $50,000 a month. He could have just asked for more. Greed isn't logical, you know that. Frank continued sorting. Here's the interesting part. This contract has a termination clause. Either party can end the agreement by eliminating key witnesses to the arrangement. Specifically, he read from the document, any person with knowledge of offshore account routing numbers, wire transfer protocols, or operational communications. Emily's blood went cold. That's me. I'm the key witness. You were, until tonight. Now the Vittorios know you have these files. Which means the termination clause is active. Which means they have legal justification in their world to kill you. Legal justification to commit murder. That's insane. It's a mob contract. Insane is standard. Frank pulled up something on his laptop. But here's where it gets complicated. The contract also specifies that if either party is exposed to law enforcement, the other party is obligated to eliminate all evidence, including witnesses, including partners. Nick's expression shifted, understanding dawning. Morrison's a liability now. Vincent's going to kill him. Probably already has orders out. The moment Emily escaped with those files, Morrison became expendable. Frank looked at Emily. Which means we need to move fast. If Morrison dies before we can get him to testify, this case falls apart. Everything hinges on his testimony. But we have the documents, the recording. That's evidence. It's evidence of a conspiracy. But without Morrison's testimony, explaining the details, connecting the dots, a good defense attorney can create reasonable doubt. Can claim the documents are fabricated, that the recording is edited, that you're working with Romano to frame innocent people. So we need Morrison alive. We need Morrison alive and talking, which means we need to get to him before Vincent does. Frank checked his watch. He's probably still at his house. Police are there. That gives us maybe an hour before the Vittorios extract him. Extract him from police custody. You think the police can stop the Vittorios? Half of them are on the payroll. The ones who aren't are too scared to interfere. Nick pulled out his phone. I'll make some calls. See if I can locate Morrison. Frank, you keep processing those documents. Emily. He looked at her. You need to call your sister. Tell her you're okay. She's been texting nonstop. Emily had forgotten about Jessica. Forgotten she'd promised to check in. She grabbed her phone. 17 missed calls. 32 texts. The most recent. If you don't answer in 5 minutes, I'm calling the police. She dialed. Jessica answered before the first ring finished. Where are you? What happened? I heard gunshots on the news. Morrison's house is all over the TV. They're saying multiple casualties. Emily, please tell me you're okay. I'm okay. I got out. Nick's people extracted me. Extracted like military extraction. This is insane. This whole thing is insane. Come back here. Now. We need to leave the city. Tonight. I can't. Not yet. I have to finish this. Finish what you almost died. You got what you needed. Let Romano and his lawyers handle the rest. It's not that simple. Morrison's in danger. If he dies, I can't prove my innocence. I need him alive. So let him die. He tried to kill you. He destroyed your career. Why do you care if he lives or dies? Emily didn't have a good answer. She should want Morrison dead. Should celebrate the idea of Vincent eliminating him. But if Morrison died, the truth died with him. And Emily would spend the rest of her life looking over her shoulder, waiting for the Vittorios to finish what they started. Because I need this to end, Emily said quietly. Really end. Not just pause until the next threat shows up. Morrison alive means testimony. Testimony means convictions. Convictions mean safety. Safety. You just escaped a mob hit by helicopter and you think you're going to be safe. Safer than I am now. Jess, please. Trust me. Just a few more hours. Then this is over. Jessica's voice broke. That's what you said before, that it would be over after the dinner, but it's not over. It's never going to be over. It will be. I promise. Stop making promises you can't keep. The line went dead. Jessica had hung up. Emily stared at her phone, guilt crushing her chest. Her sister was right. She'd been making promises she couldn't keep since this started. Promises that everything would be fine, that she'd be safe, that they'd get through this together. But she was alone now. Truly alone. Even Jessica was pulling away. Nick finished his call. Morrison's still at his house, locked in his study with 3 police officers outside the door. But they're not real cops. They're Vittorios wearing uniforms. How do you know? Because I know which cops are real and which ones are bought. These 3 bought, which means Morrison has maybe 30 minutes before they walk in there and put a bullet in his head. We need to warn him. Warn him. He tried to have you killed. He's also the only person who can corroborate my story. Without him, it's my word against Vincent's, and Vincent has better lawyers. Frank closed his laptop. She's right. We need Morrison alive, at least until he testifies before a grand jury. Nick rubbed his face, tired. For the first time since Emily had met him, he looked genuinely tired. Fine. We'll extract Morrison, but the moment he testifies, he's on his own. I'm not protecting him long term. How do we extract him from his own house with fake cops guarding him? Same way we extracted you. Overwhelming force and good timing. Nick made another call. I need a team at Morrison's residence. 3 targets, police uniforms, non-lethal if possible. 10 minutes. Emily's stomach churned. Non-lethal if possible. What does that mean? It means we're going to try not to kill anyone. But if they shoot first, we shoot back. This is insane. We should call real police, FBI, someone legitimate. And tell them what that fake cops are guarding a corrupt lawyer who's about to be killed by the mob. They'll think we're crazy. By the time they investigate, Morrison's dead, and the fake cops are gone. No, we handle this ourselves. When did I become someone who handles things with private security teams and helicopter extractions? Nick looked at her with something like sympathy. The moment you opened Morrison's briefcase, you crossed a line. Can't uncross it now. 20 minutes later, they were in another SUV speeding toward Morrison's house. Emily sat in the back, Frank beside her reviewing documents on his tablet. Nick was up front coordinating with his security team over radio. Team Alpha in position. 3 targets confirmed. 2 at the front door. 1 inside near the study. Rules of engagement. Nick spoke calmly, like he did this every day. Neutralize the targets. Extract the package. Minimal noise. Execute. The SUV stopped 2 blocks from Morrison's house. Emily could see police cars in the distance. Real ones now mixed with the fake ones. News vans. Reporters. The whole situation had escalated beyond control. How are your people going to get past all those cops and reporters? Emily asked. By not using the front door. Nick pointed to his tablet, showed her a blueprint of Morrison's house. There's a service entrance in the back, leads directly to the study. My team goes in there, grabs Morrison, and exits before anyone realizes what happened. And the fake cops? Will be distracted by a gas leak 2 houses down. Already arranged. Fire trucks are en route. Everyone will evacuate. In the chaos, Morrison disappears. You're terrifying. You know that, I'm efficient. There's a difference. The radio crackled. Gas leak confirmed. Emergency services responding. Target location evacuating. Emily watched through the windshield as police officers began directing people away from Morrison's house. Reporters moved back. The fake cops guarding Morrison's door looked confused, talking into radios receiving orders. Team Alpha, you're clear. Go now. On the tablet screen, Emily watched as Nick's security team entered through the back. 4 people, moving fast. They reached the study door. One of them picked the lock in seconds. Then the feed cut out. What happened? Emily leaned forward. Signal jammer. Someone's blocking our communications. Nick grabbed a different radio. Team Alpha report. Static. Team Alpha, do you copy? Nothing. Frank grabbed Nick's arm. It's a trap. The Vittorios knew we'd try to extract Morrison. They're waiting inside. Then we abort. Pull the team out. If they're already inside, it's too late. They're cut off. Frank pulled up another screen. I'm trying to access Morrison's home security system. If I can get visual... The tablet flickered. Security camera footage appeared. Morrison's study. Empty. No Morrison. No security team. Just an empty room and an open window. He's gone. Emily's voice was barely a whisper. Morrison's already gone. Nick slammed his hand on the dashboard. Where did they take him? Could be anywhere. The Vittorios have safe houses all over the city. Frank was typing frantically. But if they wanted him dead, they would have killed him already. Which means they want information first. Which means we have time. How much time? Hours. Maybe less. Depends on how fast Morrison talks. Emily's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Looking for Morrison. Check the waterfront. Pier 17. You have 1 hour. Come alone. She showed it to Nick. It's Vincent. Has to be. It's a trap. Of course it's a trap. But what choice do we have? Morrison's the only witness who can corroborate my story. So we let him die. Find another way to prove your innocence. There is no other way. Emily's voice cracked. Without Morrison, I'm just a junior associate with stolen documents and a recording that could be fabricated. Any lawyer worth their degree can tear that apart. I need Morrison's testimony. I need him alive. Nick stared at her. Long seconds passed. You're willing to walk into a trap for a man who tried to kill you. I'm willing to walk into a trap for my freedom. Morrison's just the key that unlocks it. Frank closed his tablet. I'll go with her. Wear a wire. Record everything. If Vincent admits to anything... Vincent's not going to admit anything. He's going to kill her the moment she shows up. Nick rubbed his temples. But you're right. We don't have another option. Okay. Here's what we do. Emily goes to Pier 17. Frank goes with her hidden recording everything. I position my team around the perimeter. The moment things go wrong, we extract both of you. And if your team can't extract us in time, then you'll be dead and I'll have lost my best lawyer and my only witness. Nick met her eyes. So try not to die. The drive to the waterfront took 15 minutes. Emily's hands wouldn't stop shaking. Frank attached another recording device to her jacket, smaller than the first one, harder to detect. This transmits directly to me. I'll be in a van 50 yards away. If Vincent says anything incriminating, we'll have it on tape. And if he just shoots me, then I'll have that on tape too. Won't help you, but it'll help convict him. Frank's attempt at humor fell flat. Sorry, bad time for jokes. There's never a good time for jokes about murder. They reached Pier 17 as the clock hit midnight. The waterfront was industrial. Abandoned warehouses. Rusted shipping containers. The kind of place where bad things happened and nobody asked questions. Emily got out of the SUV alone. Frank stayed behind monitoring equipment. Nick's security team was somewhere in the darkness. She couldn't see them, but knew they were there. Or hoped they were there. She walked toward the pier. Her heels clicked on concrete. Each step felt like walking toward her own execution. A figure emerged from the shadows. Vincent Russo. Blood still on his shirt from where she'd attacked him earlier. Bruising around his eye where she'd thrown the phone. Ms. Marshall, glad you could make it. Where's Morrison? Inside. Alive, for now. Whether he stays that way depends on you. Vincent gestured toward a warehouse. Let's talk. Just you and me. My people are watching. If you kill me, if I wanted you dead, you'd already be dead. I want something else. Something more valuable than your life. What? I want Nick Romano. I want his operations, his accounts, his connections. And you're going to give them to me. Emily's laugh was hollow. I don't have access to any of that. No, but you have access to Frank Delgado, Romano's attorney. The man who knows where every body is buried. Literally. Vincent stepped closer. Here's the deal. You get Frank to turn over Romano's financial records. All of them. Offshore accounts, shell companies, everything. In return, I let Morrison testify. I let you walk away. I even throw in a bonus. I'll testify that Morrison acted alone. That you were an innocent victim. Full immunity. Clean slate. You want me to betray Nick. I want you to be smart. Romano used you, just like Morrison used you. Just like everyone uses everyone in this city. Why should you be loyal to him? Because he saved my life. He saved his own life. You were just convenient. Vincent pulled out his phone, showed her a video. Morrison tied to a chair, blood running down his face. Your mentor, your boss, the man who promised you partnership. Right now, he's telling me everything. Where the files are hidden, who has copies, how to destroy the evidence against me. And when he's done talking, I'm going to kill him. Unless you give me Romano. Emily's chest tightened. Morrison looked broken in that video. Destroyed. Nothing like the confident attorney who'd smiled at her this morning. I can't give you Romano. I don't have what you're asking for. Then Morrison dies. And your case dies with him. And you spend the next 20 years in prison explaining to your cellmate how you had a chance to save yourself but chose loyalty to a mobster instead. Vincent pocketed his phone. You have 5 minutes to decide. After that, Morrison's usefulness expires. He walked back toward the warehouse, left Emily standing alone on the pier. Her phone buzzed. Frank, don't do it. Whatever he's asking, don't do it. She texted back. He wants Romano's financial records, says he'll let Morrison testify if I deliver. He's lying. The moment you give him what he wants, he kills you both. So what do I do, Stahl? We're moving into position. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Morrison had 5. That left 3 minutes for everything to go wrong. Emily walked toward the warehouse, hands raised, showing she wasn't armed, wasn't a threat. Vincent waited inside. Morrison was there too, tied to a chair, barely conscious. 2 other men stood guard, both armed. Well, Vincent demanded, what's your answer? I need proof Morrison will testify. I need to hear him say it. Vincent grabbed Morrison's hair, yanked his head up. Tell her you'll testify against yourself if she delivers Romano. Morrison's eyes found Emily's, bloodshot, defeated. Don't trust him. Vincent slapped him. Wrong answer. Try again. I'll testify. Morrison's voice was broken. I'll tell them everything. Just make it stop. Please. Emily's heart twisted. She'd hated this man hours ago, had wanted him punished, but seeing him like this broken and begging made her sick. Let him go, she said. I'll get you what you want, but let him go first. You think I'm stupid? You get me Romano's records, then Morrison goes free. That's the deal. How do I know you'll keep your word? You don't. That's called trust. Something you're going to have to learn real fast. Vincent checked his watch. Time's up. Give me an answer or Morrison dies right now. Emily looked at Morrison, at his broken face, at the blood and fear. She thought about her career, her sister, her life before this nightmare started, and she made a choice. Okay, she whispered. I'll do it. Vincent smiled. Smart girl. Now call Frank. Tell him to bring the records. Emily pulled out her phone. Dialed Frank. He answered immediately. Frank, Vincent wants Romano's financial records. All of them. He says if we deliver Morrison lives and testifies. Emily, don't. Please, just bring them. I can't watch another person die because of me. Silence on the other end. Then, okay, I'm coming. 10 minutes. Vincent's smile widened. See, that wasn't so hard. Now we wait. But Emily wasn't waiting. She was counting. Counting seconds, counting breaths, counting the distance between her and the door. Because she'd just lied to Vincent. And in exactly 90 seconds, Nick's security team was going to storm this warehouse. She just had to survive until then. 80 seconds. Emily focused on breathing normally, on not looking at her watch, on keeping her face neutral while her heart hammered against her ribs. Vincent paced near Morrison's gun, hanging loose in his hand. "You made the right choice, Ms. Marshall. Self-preservation. It's the most honest instinct we have. I just want this to end." It will. Once Romano's empire is mine, you can disappear. New city, new identity, new life. Isn't that what you wanted? A fresh start? 60 seconds. What I wanted was to practice law, help people, make a difference. And look where that got you. Tied up in conspiracy charges, framed for theft, almost killed by your own boss. Vincent gestured at Morrison. This is what happens to people with principles in our world. They get used, get broken, get buried. You're lucky you figured it out before it was too late. Am I lucky because I don't feel lucky? You're alive. That's luckier than most. 40 seconds. Morrison raised his head slightly. His eyes met Emily's. She saw something there: recognition. Understanding. He knew something was about to happen. Knew she hadn't really called Frank with surrender. "Vincent." Morrison's voice was wet, damaged. "She's stalling." Vincent stopped pacing. "What?" "She's stalling. Romano's people are coming. That's why she agreed so easily. That's why." Vincent grabbed Emily's arm, yanked her phone away, checked the call log, saw Frank's number. "How long ago did you call him?" 2 minutes, maybe 3. Like I said, 2 minutes to drive here from where he was positioned. That's not enough time, which means he was already on his way, which means this was a setup. Vincent's grip tightened. Painful now. "How long until they get here?" 20 seconds. "I don't know what you're talking about." Vincent pressed the gun against her temple. "Don't lie to me. How long?" "I'm not." Explosions rocked the warehouse. Flashbangs, light and sound and chaos. Emily dropped to the ground, ears ringing, vision white. Gunfire erupted. Vincent's men returning fire, shouting, commands, more explosions. Emily crawled toward Morrison. Her hands found the ropes binding him to the chair. She pulled at the knots. They were too tight, professionally tied. "Leave me," Morrison gasped. "Get out. Save yourself." "Shut up. I'm not leaving you." "Emily, please." A hand grabbed her shoulder. She screamed, spun around. Frank stood there, bolt cutters in hand. He cut through Morrison's restraints in 3 quick snaps. "Can you walk?" Frank pulled Morrison to his feet. "I can try." "Then try fast. We have maybe 30 seconds before Vincent's reinforcements arrive." They ran toward the back exit. Morrison stumbled. Emily caught him, held him up. He was heavier than he looked. Dead weight pulling her down. Behind them, the gunfire intensified. Nick's voice cutting through the chaos. "Emily, Frank, move." They burst through the exit into an alley. Nick's SUV waited, engine running. Frank shoved Morrison into the back seat. Emily climbed in after him. Nick was already driving before her door closed. Everyone alive. Barely. Frank checked Morrison's pulse. "He needs a hospital." "Hospital's too exposed. Vittorio's have people there." Nick took a corner too fast. Emily slammed against the door. "We go to the safe house. Patch him up there. Then we figure out next steps." "Next steps?" Emily's voice was shrill. "We just assaulted a warehouse, shot at Vincent Russo, kidnapped a witness from mob custody. What next steps are there except prison? The next steps where we use Morrison's testimony to bury the Vittorios and get you immunity. That was always the plan. The plan was insane. The plan worked. Morrison's alive. You're alive. That's what matters." Morrison coughed. Blood flecked his lips. "Emily, I need to tell you something. Save your strength. We'll get you medical attention and then you can tell me everything. No, now, before..." He coughed again, harder. "Before I don't get the chance." Frank leaned closer. "Morrison, what is it?" "The offshore accounts, the ones Emily found. They weren't just for stealing from Romano. They were for something bigger, something Vincent and I planned months ago. Emily's stomach dropped. What are you talking about? We were going to frame Romano for murder, plant evidence, get him arrested. While he was locked up, Vincent would take over his operations and I would manage the legal side. Split everything 50-50. Murder. Whose murder? Morrison's eyes found hers. Yours. The world tilted. Emily couldn't breathe. What? It was supposed to look like Romano killed you to silence a witness. We had everything planned. Evidence planted in his apartment. Digital trails. Witnesses who'd testify they saw him arguing with you. It was perfect. But I'm not dead. Because you moved faster than we expected. Found the files. Exposed everything before we could execute the plan. Vincent wanted to kill you immediately. I convinced him to wait. To use you to get to Romano first. Then eliminate you. Emily's hands were shaking. You were going to kill me. I was going to sacrifice you. There's a difference. In my mind, at least. Morrison's laugh turned into a cough. More blood. But you survived. You're stronger than I gave you credit for. You sick bastard! Emily lunged at him. Frank caught her, held her back. You destroyed my life, my career, everything I worked for, and you were going to kill me. I destroyed your innocence. Your life was never real to begin with. None of our lives are. We're all just playing roles. Some of us are better actors than others. Nick pulled over, shut off the engine, turned around to face Morrison. Keep talking. Tell me everything about Vincent's operation. Every detail, every connection, every account. Why should I? Because right now you're a liability to Vincent. He's going to kill you the moment he finds you. Your only chance of survival is witness protection. And you only get witness protection if you give the Fed something valuable enough to justify the cost. Morrison closed his eyes. I'm dead either way. Maybe. But you can choose how you die. Slow in a torture room begging Vincent for mercy, or fast from old age in some quiet town under a new name. Your choice. Silence filled the car. Emily's rage burned so hot she could barely see straight. This man had mentored her, praised her, promised her a future. And the entire time he'd been planning her murder. I'll talk, Morrison finally said. But I want full immunity. Not just from the theft and conspiracy charges, from everything, including the planned murder. You don't get to negotiate, Emily started. Yes, he does. Nick cut her off. Because without his testimony, Vincent walks. The Vittorios walk. And every crime family in this city learns they can frame innocent people without consequences. Morrison testifies, or everyone loses. Emily wanted to argue, wanted to demand justice, real justice. But Nick was right. Morrison's testimony was the only thing that mattered now. Fine, she whispered. He testifies. He gets immunity. And I get my life back. That's the plan. They drove to a different safe house. This one was medical equipped with exam tables, monitors, supplies. A doctor was waiting. Gray hair, calm expression. He looked at Morrison and immediately started working. Broken ribs, concussion, internal bleeding possible. He needs a hospital. Can't risk it, Nick said. Do what you can here. The doctor's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Began treating Morrison's injuries while Frank set up recording equipment. They needed Morrison's statement documented before Vincent found them. Emily stood by the window watching the street below, looking for threats, for cars that didn't belong, for any sign they'd been followed. Her phone buzzed. Jessica News says there was a shooting at the waterfront. Please tell me that wasn't you. Emily texted back. I'm okay. Still working on ending this. You keep saying that. When does it actually end? Soon. I promise. Your promises don't mean anything anymore. The words cut deep. Emily wanted to call her sister, explain everything, make her understand. But understanding required trust. And Emily had burned through Jessica's trust hours ago. Emily, Frank called her over. Morrison's ready to give his statement. She walked to the exam table. Morrison was bandaged now, cleaned up. Still looked terrible but stable. The doctor stepped back, giving them space. Frank positioned the camera. State your name for the record. Gerald Morrison, senior partner at Morrison, Bradley & Chase. And you understand this statement is being given voluntarily, without coercion. I understand. Tell us about your relationship with Vincent Russo and the Vittorio crime family. Morrison took a breath, winced from the pain, then started talking. He talked for 40 minutes. Names, dates, transactions, murders he knew about, judges who were bought, prosecutors who looked the other way. A complete map of the Vittorio's operations in the city. Emily listened with growing horror. She'd worked for this man for 2 years, had coffee with him every morning, had trusted his advice on cases and career moves, and the entire time he'd been running a criminal empire from his corner office. The offshore accounts, Frank prompted. Walk us through those. Vincent needed a way to move money without attracting attention. I provided the legal infrastructure, shell companies, offshore banks, legitimate-looking transactions that were actually money laundering. Emily stumbled onto one of those accounts while reviewing the Castellano merger. And that's when you decided she was a liability. That's when Vincent decided she was a liability. I argued for keeping her useful, using her to access Romano's operations through Frank Delgado. But Vincent wanted her dead immediately. Why didn't he kill her? Because I convinced him there was a better way. Frame her and Romano together. Make it look like they were working as partners to steal from my firm. Then eliminate both of them and take over Romano's empire, while the feds were chasing ghosts. Frank glanced at Emily. She nodded. Keep going. Get everything on record. Tell us about tonight, about the dinner party. The dinner was supposed to be Emily's execution. Vincent had people positioned throughout the house. The plan was to get her confession on tape, make her admit to working with Romano, then stage a murder-suicide. Make it look like she killed herself out of guilt. But she escaped. She escaped, took my files, exposed the entire operation. Vincent was furious, ordered her killed immediately. I tried to negotiate, buy us time. But Vincent doesn't negotiate. He eliminates problems. So he took you hostage. He took me hostage to use as bait, to draw Emily and Romano out, to finish what should have been finished hours ago. Frank stopped the recording. That's enough for now. Get some rest. We'll need more details later, but this is a good start. Morrison closed his eyes. Am I going to survive this? Physically, probably. Legally depends on how good your testimony is in court. And morally? Nobody answered that question. Nick pulled Emily and Frank into the next room. Okay, we have Morrison's statement. We have the documents from his safe. We have Emily's recording from the dinner party. That's enough to bring charges against Vincent and the Vittorios. Question is, who do we trust with this evidence? Not Chen, Emily said immediately. She's dirty. She'll bury it. Not the local police either. Half of them are on Vittorio payroll. Frank pulled out his phone. But I know someone. U.S. Attorney Sarah Brennan. She's been building a RICO case against the Vittorios for 3 years. This would make her case. Can we trust her? As much as we can trust anyone. She's ambitious but clean. Wants to make a name for herself. This case would do that. Then we meet with her. Tonight. Get everything on the record before Vincent can regroup. Nick checked his watch. It's 1 a.m. How fast can you reach her? Give me 10 minutes. Frank stepped away to make calls. Emily sank into a chair. Exhaustion hit her like a physical weight. She'd been running on adrenaline for 12 hours. Now that she'd stopped moving, her body wanted to shut down. You did good tonight, Nick said quietly. I almost got killed. Multiple times. But you didn't. You survived. That's what matters. Morrison was going to murder me. His own associate. Someone he mentored. How do I process that? You don't. You accept it and move forward. Dwelling on betrayal doesn't help anyone. Easy for you to say. You live in a world where betrayal is expected. I don't. I didn't. Emily looked at him. I used to believe in justice, in the system, in doing the right thing. Now I don't know what I believe. You believe in survival, in fighting back, in refusing to be a victim. That's enough. Is it? Because it doesn't feel like enough. It feels like I've become something I never wanted to be. Nick sat down beside her. You've become someone who's harder to kill. In my world, that's the highest compliment. I don't want to live in your world. You don't have a choice anymore. You crossed over. Can't go back now. Emily wanted to argue, wanted to insist she could return to normal life. But he was right. She'd crossed a line tonight. Multiple lines. Shot at people. Lied to mobsters. Participated in an armed extraction. She wasn't a lawyer anymore. Wasn't sure what she was. Frank returned. Brennan will meet us. 3 a.m. Federal Building. She's bringing 2 other prosecutors and a FBI liaison. They want to hear Morrison's statement directly. 3 a.m. That's 2 hours from now. She needs time to assemble the team, to prepare. This is the biggest case of her career. She's not taking chances. Frank looked at Morrison through the doorway. Can he travel? The doctor emerged. He shouldn't. But if you keep it short and get him real medical care immediately after, he'll survive. Then we move in 90 minutes. Gives Morrison time to rest. Gives us time to prepare. Nick stood. Frank, make copies of everything. Documents, recordings, Morrison's statement. I want redundancies. If something happens to one copy. Already done. Everything's backed up to 3 different secure servers, plus physical copies in 2 separate locations. Good. Emily, you should call your sister. Let her know you're okay. Emily pulled out her phone. Jessica had sent 4 more texts, each one angrier than the last. The most recent, fine. Don't answer. I'm done worrying about you. You made your choice. Emily's fingers hovered over the keyboard. What could she say? How could she explain that she'd been in a gunfight, that she'd extracted her boss from mob custody, that she'd recorded a confession implicating dozens of criminals? She settled for, I'm alive. I'm safe. This is almost over. I love you. No response. Jessica had probably turned off her phone. Gone to sleep. Given up on her impossible sister, who kept making impossible choices. Emily pocketed her phone and stood. What do I need to do to prepare for meeting Brennan? Tell the truth, all of it. Don't minimize what happened. Don't try to make yourself look better. Just tell her exactly how Morrison and Vincent tried to frame you, how you found the evidence, how you survived. Frank handed her a bottle of water. And drink this. Stay hydrated. You look terrible. I feel terrible. That's normal. You've been traumatized multiple times in a single day. Your body's going to crash soon, probably right after the adrenaline wears off. When does that happen? Usually when you feel safe, so probably not for a while. They spent the next hour reviewing their evidence, making sure everything was documented, making sure their story was consistent, making sure Brennan would have everything she needed to bring charges. At 2:30, they loaded Morrison into the SUV. He was conscious, but barely. Kept drifting in and out. The doctor gave him something for pain. Warned them it would make him drowsy, but coherent enough to answer questions. The drive to the Federal Building took 15 minutes. Downtown. Heavy security. Nick couldn't go inside. Too many warrants, too many complications. He dropped them at the entrance. This is where we part ways, he said to Emily. You go in there. You tell your story. You get your immunity. And you never look back. What about you? I'll handle my business. Clean up the mess. Make sure Vincent understands he lost. Nick's expression was unreadable. You don't need to worry about me. I've been doing this a long time. Will I see you again? Probably not. That's for the best. You're going back to being a lawyer. I'm staying in my world. Those worlds don't mix. Emily wanted to thank him. Wanted to acknowledge that he'd saved her life multiple times. But the words felt inadequate. Insufficient. Take care of yourself, she finally said. You too. And Emily, don't waste this second chance. Not everyone gets one. He drove away. Emily watched the taillights disappear into the night. felt a strange sense of loss, even though she barely knew him. He'd manipulated her, used her, but he'd also protected her, saved her, shown her how to survive. Come on. Frank touched her elbow. Brennan's waiting. They went through security, metal detectors, ID checks, an elevator to the 7th floor, a conference room where 3 prosecutors and 2 FBI agents waited. Sarah Brennan was younger than Emily expected. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, no-nonsense expression. She stood when they entered. Ms. Marshall, Mr. Delgado, Mr. Morrison, please sit. We have a lot to discuss. They sat. Morrison slumped in his chair. Frank placed 3 file boxes on the table. Emily folded her hands and tried to look calm. Before we begin, Brennan said, I want to be clear about what's happening here. This is a proffer session. You're going to tell me everything you know about Vincent Russo, the Vittorio crime family, and their operations. In return, I'm offering immunity from prosecution for any crimes you may have committed during the course of this investigation. But that immunity is contingent on your full cooperation and truthful testimony. If you lie, if you hold back, the deal is void. Understood. Understood? Emily said. Understood? Frank echoed. Morrison just nodded, too weak to speak. Good. Let's start from the beginning. Ms. Marshall, tell me how you became involved with Gerald Morrison and Nick Romano. Emily took a breath and started talking. She talked for 2 hours, told them everything. The elevator encounter, Morrison's manipulation, the offshore accounts, the dinner party, the extraction, Vincent's confession, all of it. The prosecutors took notes, asked questions, clarified details, requested evidence. Frank provided documents for each claim, recordings, photographs, bank statements. By the time Emily finished, dawn was breaking outside. Gray light filtering through the windows. She felt hollowed out, empty, like she'd purged something toxic that had been living inside her. That's quite a story, Brennan said, and you have evidence to support all of it. Everything's documented, recorded, witnessed. Frank gestured to the file boxes. 3 years of financial crimes, 24 counts of conspiracy, multiple counts of attempted murder, money laundering, racketeering. It's all there. Brennan opened one of the files, scanned the first page. Her expression shifted from skeptical to interested to excited. This is extraordinary. If even half of this is admissible, we can bring down the entire Vittorio organization. It's all admissible, Frank said. Obtained legally, documented properly, chain of custody maintained throughout. And Morrison. He'll testify to all of this. Morrison raised his head. I'll testify. I'll tell you everything. Names, dates, operations, everything Vincent told me, everything I witnessed, everything I participated in, all of it. In exchange for full immunity. In exchange for my life. Immunity is just paperwork. I'm a dead man the moment Vincent finds me. Witness protection is the only thing keeping me alive. Brennan looked at the FBI agents. They nodded. Some silent communication Emily couldn't interpret. Okay, Brennan said. Here's what happens now. We take you into protective custody immediately. All 3 of you. We'll debrief Morrison in detail over the next week. Prepare the indictments, execute warrants, arrest Vincent Russo and every Vittorio associate we can identify. Within a month, we'll present to a grand jury. Within 6 months, we'll go to trial. And after the trial? Emily asked. After the trial, you're free to go. Resume your life. Practice law if you want, though you'll probably need to do it somewhere other than this city. My sister will be protected during the trial. After that, she's on her own. But the Vittorios will be in prison. Vincent will be in prison. You'll be safe. Safe. Emily let the words sink in. After 24 hours of terror, she'd finally be safe. There's one more thing, Brennan said. Nick Romano. He's implicated in some of this too. Financial crimes. Money laundering. We'll need your testimony against him as well. Emily's stomach tightened. He saved my life. He also committed crimes, serious ones. If you want full immunity, you testify against everyone, including Romano. But without him, I'd be dead. Vincent would have killed me. That doesn't erase his crimes. I understand your loyalty, but this is about justice, not friendship." Emily looked at Frank. He gave a subtle shake of his head. A warning. Don't argue. Don't negotiate. Just take the deal. "Okay," Emily whispered. "I'll testify, against everyone, Romano included." Brennan smiled. "Good. Then we have a deal. Welcome to witness protection, Ms. Marshall. Your old life is over. Time to build a new one." Emily nodded, felt tears building but refused to let them fall. She'd survived. That was what mattered. She'd survived when everyone had tried to destroy her. But as she followed the FBI agents out of the conference room toward whatever came next, she couldn't shake the feeling that she'd lost something essential. Some part of herself that couldn't be recovered. Morrison had been right about one thing. They were all just playing roles, some better actors than others. And Emily Marshall, the idealistic junior associate who'd believed in justice, had given her final performance. What came next was someone different, someone harder. Someone who'd learned that survival meant sacrifice, that safety meant betrayal, that the only way to win was to become exactly what you'd been fighting against. Her phone buzzed one last time. A text from Jessica. "I saw the news. They arrested Vincent Russo. Multiple charges. Is this finally over?" Emily typed her response carefully. "It's over. I'm coming home soon. Love you. Love you too. I'm proud of you." Emily smiled. It felt strange on her face, like an expression she'd forgotten how to make. She'd survived. Her sister was safe. The criminals were arrested. Justice, real justice, would be served. And if that justice required her to betray the man who'd saved her life, if it required her to testify against someone who'd protected her when no one else would, if it required her to compromise every principle she'd thought she had, well, that was just the price of survival. That was just how the game was played. And Emily Marshall had learned to play it very well.